Idea number one, just fucking take him out. Unfortunately, I don't think that's in the cards, even though it's the best option. So let's actually think this stuff through properly and make sure it isn't overtuned and kills off the hardcore side of the player base, because within a couple months, likely even less, the hardcores will be all that's left, and those are the guys that will buy gobblegums and skins to show off against the other regulars. Grief is not like multiplayer. It rewards aggressive alpha-type personalities that just get in your face all game. Not everyone is built for that, and it's why you can't assume the player base of casuals will stick around because you change something. They're not going to, I promise. That's why it's a delicate balancing act, far unlike multiplayer, and should be treated differently. So let's go piece by piece on this. Weapon nerf. Currently, this doesn't affect the aggressive knifing type because they're not killing anyway. Here's your solution. Make the melee swing at half speed during the weapon nerf debuff. This way, the majority of us here that just want to run around knifing can still do so, but there's still some level of punishment that doesn't completely kill the viability of melee. Ammo drain. Also, this currently doesn't affect the aggressive knifer. I've got a solid solution. Ammo drain should be a reverse max ammo. It removes all ammo, including tacticals. So even if you don't use a gun, guess what? Those clutch shock charges are all going away. And with salvage amounts going down, they won't be so easily replaced. Now the melee user is also getting a debuff from ammo drain that could be critical, but doesn't ruin his or her time on the game. Zombie ambush. This doesn't need a buff. Are you nuts? I half-jokingly said it doesn't affect knifers because they outrun people chasing them. Well, you've seen footage already that we've shown here that isn't actually true if people use all the tools they have to slow you down. The idea that this needs to be even stronger is just wild. I can't imagine buffing this and not making it so busted it just ends the game by default. Hell, it already comes close to doing that as it is. If anything, could use a tiny bit of toning down. Weapon Carousel. Well, according to Treyarch, this one is fine. I wonder why that is. Could it be because it's the only one that directly punishes people that want to use melee? It's seeming like they're not big fans of people knifing all game. Well, Treyarch, maybe you should have done 5 seconds of research on the game of Grief so you could have learned within those 5 seconds that running around knifing is literally the entirety of what Grief is. And if that's not what it is, you don't call it Grief. And I'm not trying to be a sarcastic twat here, it's just so out of touch, I just can't fathom it. Like, would these guys put out a multiplayer mode without guns? Because that's what Grief without constant knifing would be. Frozen. Again, the idea of buffing Frozen is so crazy, what do you even say? It's already OP. Why the hell would you want to make it even stronger? The only thing on your mind here should be shortening the duration. There's really only one thing you could do to buff it, which is make melee swing at half speed during the duration. Hell, that's probably the solution across the board. When a debuff hits you, you can't swing as fast no matter what it is. A middle ground that doesn't ruin the game for people that want a knife, which, as I said, in the game of Grief is literally the entire play base. Like, what exactly did they think they were making here? We all just want to run around knifing. That's what Grief is at its entire core. I think another good thing you could do to balance out capture zones, if they do start buffing them and making them too strong, make the capture zones not appear as often. That would be fantastic as well. A couple other things they mentioned, they want to limit Gobblegum Spam. Easiest solution in the world, and what I expect will happen. Bring back the original timer on the Gobblegum machine. It makes so much sense. I can't see any other solution being better than that. I think it was like 260 seconds. Bring that back just for Grief, and you massively cut down on Gobblegum use. Even better if that timer is permanent and doesn't reset just because the round does, because the rounds move quick. So that becomes pointless if the timer resets on a new round. And the last thing, which does have me a little bit worried, they mentioned they want to tone down melee even more. They just haven't implemented it yet. This is a scary one, because the good survival guys are already very difficult to kill, so they took away some of their escape options. Well, if melee becomes even less viable, that's meaningless, because they won't need those escape options if you can't consistently melee stun them anymore. We talked about ideas for balancing the knife, and I think a great middle ground is tying the lunge, swing speed, and stun effect as they currently exist right now to perk augments so you won't have it from round 1. Now the randoms don't get spammed to death until later in the game, but the option to knife as it works right now is still available in the high rounds for those annoying runners that are hard to keep pace with. I think there is fair middle ground for everybody here as long as they don't overtune the debuff zones or kill off the knife entirely, which would kill off the mode entirely.